We meet people every single day. We talk, we smile, but how often do we really know what's going on in their head? Some people are hiding fear, some are hiding lies, and some are hiding what they truly want. It's just a universal part of being human, that feeling of not quite knowing where you stand with someone. But what if you could change that? What if you could actually understand the real emotions, the hidden intentions, and the thoughts of people around you, all without them saying a single word? Well, that's exactly what we're about to get into.
Because, and I'm just going to say it, mind reading is real, but probably not in the way you're thinking.
No, we're not talking about crystal balls or any kind of magic. This is all grounded in hard science. We're talking about human psychology, the very same techniques that professional interrogators and behavioral experts use to figure out what's really going on under the surface. Think about it for a second. Have you ever been in a conversation where, I don't know, everything sounds fine, but you just get this little gut feeling that something is off? Like maybe they're not being totally honest. You probably just brushed it aside, right? But later on, you found out your gut was right along. Well, that feeling, that's not your imagination. See, here's the thing. Your brain is already picking up on all these little signals, even when you don't consciously notice it. So what we're going to do here is learn how to bring that process into focus to finally see what your brain already knows. All right, let's jump into our first trick. We're going to start with the most obvious place for emotions, but we're going to look at it in a new way. We're talking about reading those little flash emotions on the face. These are what experts call microexpressions. They're these super fast, involuntary little emotional leaks that flash across someone's face for like less than half a second. Now, anyone can fake a smile. Anyone can fake looking confident. But here's the kicker. You literally cannot fake a microexpression. It's that momentary flash of their true feelings, a flicker of fear in the eyes, a tiny clench of anger in the jaw. They just leak out. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? A person's face can absolutely lie to you. But their true emotions? Oh, they will always find a way to leak out. Your job is just to learn how to spot the leak. Okay, let's move on to trick number 2. We're going to stay on the face, but zoom in on what people call the windows to the soul. We're going to watch the eyes.
Now, forget all that stuff you heard about looking up into the left means they're lying. That's mostly a myth. The real clues are in how the eyes behave under pressure. Think about it. Telling the truth is easy for your brain. Lying, that's hard work. And that mental effort shows up in the eyes. For instance, their blink rate might go weird. People often blink less while they're making up the lie, and then you'll see a little flurry of blinks right after. Or their pupils might get bigger. It's a super subtle but reliable sign of mental stress. Lying is a workout for the brain, and the eyes show the strain. All right, this next one might sound a little weird, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful. For a second, forget the face, forget the eyes. Instead, you're going to trust the feet. So here's the psychology. We are all obsessed with controlling our facial expressions, our tone of voice, our hand gestures. But you know what we almost always forget about? Our feet. And our feet have this funny habit of unconsciously pointing in the direction our mind really wants to go. So if you're talking to someone and their whole body is facing you, but their feet are angled toward the door, that's a massive clue that they are mentally checked out and they want to leave. Just remember this. People can lie with their words. They can even lie with their face. But their feet almost always tell the honest-to-goodness truth. It's one of the most honest parts of the body. So we've covered a bunch of visual cues. Now let's switch gears and focus on something you can hear. It's time to really, truly listen to the voice. The reason for this is really simple. Telling the truth is a low-stress activity for the brain. But telling a lie, that creates stress. And that stress physically changes how we sound. You might hear their vocal pitch suddenly go higher or lower than normal, or they might suddenly start talking way faster or way slower. You might even notice their breathing pattern change, all because their brain is working overtime to keep that lie together. Okay, moving on to trick number 5. Now, this one is less about spotting lies and more about understanding connection and trust. What you're going to do is look for the mirror. Mirroring is this subconscious thing people do where they start to copy you. They'll copy your posture, your hand gestures, maybe even your tone of voice or the words you use. When you see this happening, it's a huge sign of trust and a strong emotional connection. It basically means they feel totally in sync with you. And if you see a complete lack of mirroring, well, that can be a sign of a disconnect or some kind of discomfort. So, all the tricks we've talked about so far have been about passive observation. This next one is an active technique. It's a tool you can actually use to get more information. It's called the silence test. The way this works is so simple, but it's wildly effective. First, you ask a very direct question. Then, and this is the most important part, you just stay completely silent. Don't nod, don't say just be quiet. See, most people find that kind of silence really uncomfortable. And to break that discomfort, they'll just start talking, and they'll often reveal details they never, ever meant to share.
Silence creates this vacuum that people feel they have to fill. And that brings us to our final and honestly our most important trick of all. Because without this one, none of the others really work. You absolutely have to know their baseline. This right here is the golden rule. You can't just look at one behavior and make a judgment. First, you have to know how that person acts normally. What's their typical tone of voice? How fast do they usually talk? What are their normal gestures? That right there, that's their baseline. The big reveal isn't the behavior itself. It's the sudden change from that baseline. That is what tells you something has shifted inside their head. So when you start putting all these pieces together, it really does start to feel like a superpower. But again, it's not magic. What this really comes down to is a higher level of awareness. It's about a commitment to deep observation. And really, at the end of the day, it's about building a higher level of emotional intelligence. And this is the most empowering part of all of this. You don't have to grill people. You don't have to interrogate them. If you just learn to watch and listen more than you speak, you'll find that people will, quite literally, read themselves to you. Because in the end, the world is a really noisy place. But the truth is often hidden in those quiet little signals that people are sending out every single day. Mind reading isn't magic. It's just the art and science of paying attention. It's psychology.